Greetings. Hey, it's Susie Q here. Another day on Today I Thrive. I've got 111 video or podcast that I'm putting together for this series, Today I Thrive. And so, hey, how you doing? What's going on out there in your world? And what's turning you on? And what are you creating in your life right now? What's looking different? What are you doing to create heaven on earth here now? So, whew, a lot of questions. So we'd like to just kind of go back to yesterday. So yesterday we really were tuning in with what we call a synchronicity, and that was, it felt really light and wonderful for me. And I made a boo boo on one of the things that I said in my video. This was about the case study of working with another healing practitioner, a doctor, and I said that he had liver gallbladder things, and I did not name the right homeopathy or the right remedy. So this right here is wood, and this covers the liver and gallbladder. Little disclaimer here. And then I mentioned water, but water is something that I'm working on right now. So this is about it says here, all fire meridians. I guess I'm on fire. I don't know. Anyway, but I was also going to show you that when you work with these remedies, it's recommended, I don't know all the science on it, is that you, I think you tap it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I do about 10. I'll do it right now, but let me get my fire. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll do about 12 here. What? Okay, I don't know what that does. Anyway, it does help. It's frequency. It's frequency medicine. So that's one thing I wanted to mention from yesterday is I made a boo-boo, and I forgot that it was wood for that synchronistic case study with the doctor. So today we're going to talk about some really other cool stuff. So the first day we talked about some breathing practices and some tapping and moving into synchronicity. Yesterday was synchronicity, and today is really about coming into some cool awareness of our spiritual world that we live on. You know, we chose this beautiful planet, and we know there's so much more that's so much richer than what we can experience. And so, a lot of things are changing, of course, for people, but you can still go outside and you can have an experience with nature itself. I remember this is an example of really relating in a spiritual world is even when I was a little girl, I used to love to go to this bayou, Buffalo Bayou in Houston, Texas. I was totally free. I was riding my bicycle at 4, so I had like ultimate freedom. And I used to go to the Buffalo Bayou and go down there, and there were ferns. And so I was really attracted to the beautiful frequency and medicine of the ferns. And I knew as I got older that those ferns are always indicating that there's at least a little drop of water to sustain these beautiful and delicate plants. That was one when I was little. So I used to go to the Buffalo Bayou, hang out down there by myself and explore, but always maybe bring some of that plant life back to the house and plant. I used to have my own little designated area for planting. I love that. And then also another example of our spiritual world and how we relate to it and how we, just acknowledge and be in gratitude for this beautiful awareness of our natural world that we're in is back in 2008, I dedicated myself to a practice of writing original poetry with a forum. And so I submitted poetry every day, 365 pieces. And I remember there was one day that was when I was living in the country. I was in Dripping Springs, had 5 acres, had a really nice place, and really enjoyed it. It was very beautiful. And so I noticed one day I would go out on my front porch, and I had this glider, that was on the front porch. And I remember just kind of sitting on that glider, like an old country gal should. And I started looking at the trees. There were so many trees, on 5 acres. It was just so beautiful. And I remember really taking a look at one of the trees and really seeing the trees breathing. So it wasn't just observing a beautiful tree, it was observing the breath of life with that tree. And that was so amazing to me. And I was like, God, so amazingly strange and wonderful. So that was me experiencing in my own personal domain, my house, and on my acreage, is that I got to experience some really cool things of awareness of this natural and most spiritual world. Okay. And so probably you have got some examples there too. I have some more examples on that. So I know when the kids were there, I had two kids, and we used to observe a lot of naturalness, obviously. And I was always kind of a hippie chick mom. That's no surprise, right? But we used to go and do these little excursions. We called them rock hunts. And so those were opportunities for us to go to a place that seemed reasonable enough, and we would collect different rocks and then bring them back to the house. So then we started moving in with these different elements. That again, that's coming back into that spiritual world, that we know that the world that we live in, it could be all the busy nature and all the different things and the TV and all the different opinions and different kinds of nuances like that. But when we go out into that natural, the spiritual world, is we begin to see the most minute and most miraculous, beautiful things to observe and understand. On our front porch at that house, we had an area where a spider would always be. It was a pretty large spider, and we got to watch that sack. I guess it was the little babies in there, little baby spiders. We never got to see it when they opened and when they left, but we always observed, and we always had a relationship with that little corner in that front porch. That was pretty cool. And I remember too, again, being on that spiritual world and in that place, I really felt a real affinity and a real love and admiration of the hill country, and also that space of just a little bit of acreage, a little bit of space to just kind of breathe. I remember too that there were times too in that spiritual space of awareness of nature. Is I used to have a fox that would come up to the front porch, and it would get so close to me, and we would connect with each other in a way that was just so divinely connected, that it wasn't afraid of me, I wasn't afraid of it, and it would come by every once in a while. And that was that beautiful connection that we know that as we're moving about our day and having different experiences, this beautiful spiritual world opens up for us for what we're seeking. Perhaps at that time I was seeking nature and a beautiful place to raise my children and be surrounded by amazing plant life, mineral life, and all these other types of little beings that were there, probably some fairies too, I don't know. Anyway, so just really connecting in with that part of you that has awareness of a spiritual nature to this life, and it's always around you, it's always surrounding you, that there's a greater design for you as you're moving about your day and you're changing how you do things, that there is a design that's there for you, and it's kind of like laid out for you. And let's just say you have a change of mind about what your direction is, and you might just all of a sudden just like blah 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 and create a whole new path that you weren't really expecting, but it just showed up for you as a result of what you're attracting into your life. This spiritual world and this grand design is so special, and each one of us has an opportunity to check in. Is this where I want to be now? Is there something else I'm wishing to create, and what else might it be, and what might it look like? And what do I need to do to create this beautiful awareness? Is it simply is really noticing in on what you're attracting in your life? What is creating more joy, more pleasure, and more fun and more lightness into your world? And even if it's a simple thing could be, oh, a glass of water. Whew. Boy, I live in the desert now. It's really nice to have a glass of water. Appreciating simple things like that, appreciating the simplicity of life, and noticing that at any moment a new portal, a new path, a new avenue, a new awareness, a new idea comes in that's perfect for you. And guess what? You're ready for it. When new things start showing up in this beautiful spiritually and really cosmically designed blueprint for you, it's really at whatever it is that you're desiring. So if you're like going, I'm not really desiring much now, well, I'd say, come on now. Why don't you figure out exactly what you would like to create? Let's just say what you have right now isn't exactly in harmony with where you're at. There's a little disharmony. then you can go, well, what do I really want? So you got to really kind of start discerning, what do I really want in this beautiful blueprint, my spiritual world. Okay, so I've got one more thing I want to add. And so I'm like pretty excited because I have an opportunity. I was offered an opportunity to submit a grant with a parapsychological family trust. And it is very exciting for me because a lot of the work I do is kind of hard to explain to people. Now, for me, it's kind of like it's a second sight or a third sight or fourth or sixth sight, that I have. And so I'm real excited about doing that. And so I'd love for you to hold me in your highest and brightest light. And this parapsychological grant is related to a case study that I'll be creating around the Akashic records. And so if you're not familiar with it, it's in some worlds it's called the Book of Life, the Book of Souls. I'm a yogi at heart, so I really chose the Akashic records is how I describe this beautiful work. So I'm really looking at setting into my spiritual world, into my blueprint, at my own design as I am the architect. Get this, I am the architect of my blueprint of the spiritual life and the spiritual world. And guess what? So are you. So please hold me in that highest light. Case studies, I'm looking at probably about a dozen case studies and kind of getting it formulated so as we have to really show some proof, scientific proof, that there was a shift from the benefit of receiving an Akashic record. And I'm working on that. So, and I'm really happy because I've got a beautiful doctor that's helping me find the best way to quantify the work. Anyway, I just love you so much and just really appreciate all of you for all of the beautiful things that you're expressing out into this world, and that you're really loving yourself more deeply and really treating your body kind and saying kind things to yourself. I really appreciate that because when you do it for yourself, it actually affects all of us. So I'm really in great gratitude for you. I'm in abundance of love and blessings to you as you're moving through your spiritual world. You're editing your blueprint of this beautiful life, and you're finding out what different paths that might be better for you now than they were maybe a little bit ago. So we always have a time to create, to manifest, and just allow those beautiful energies to come in. It's all you, it's a you on you. It's not some magical little thing there. It's all of your intent. Okay. So anyway, so the spiritual world, this beautiful blueprint is ready for you to come in, take a dive and figure out, what would I like to add? What would I like to extract out of the current blueprint? And what crystal grids will I put in place of those areas? What does that look like? What does it feel like? Anyway, loving you so much. Have a most beautiful day. Sending many, many blessings, lots of love, and namaste.